Good evening. What's happening, everybody? This is your boy Bobby Hill with another episode of the Big Damn. How y'all doing, man? I hope everything's going well with y'all. Hope you're one step closer to your goals. Hope you're one step closer to your dreams or whatever you're trying to accomplish in life that's positive. I hope you're one step closer to it. When I always start out, I always give thanks to my and give a shout out to my lovely wife Sandra. She's at work right now. She's doing her thing, but she's always got my back. And I always got her back. I always explain it. Just I do it all the time. It's just repetitive. Telling you, I would never get tired of telling you, what she mean to me and how she holds me down. And I do everything within my power to hold her down. You know, in a good way, that is. You got to see me up here wiping myself. Lord, it's hot. It's hot out here. It's 106 out here in South Texas. It's hot out here. It's been hot past couple days. It's summertime. It's different. It's not as humid. I give it that. It's not as humid as the summers in North Carolina. It was very humid. Even when the temperatures weren't in the hundreds, they could be in the 80s or the low 90s, but that humidity be upward of 70, 60, 70%, even more, and it makes it feel like it is 100. So yeah, it's feeling it out here, but it's okay. It's all right. I can deal with it. I can deal with it. My skin is built for it. I got this dark color. I can absorb that heat. Don't get me wrong. I still do burn. Do not get me wrong. It's always like a thing saying that like me be having a dark skin, like I can't burn. Like you know, like my skin can't. As you see lighter people, especially like Caucasians, white people, they burn. They burn easy in the sun. And they figure like you got a dark skin, so you won't. So it won't burn. It won't. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It might take a little bit more. The first time I really experienced getting burnt in the sun was um it was in the mid 2000s. I forgot exactly which year. Maybe 2004, maybe 2004, five, maybe four. I think it's four. Yes, we went to the place I was working at in Wilmington, North Carolina. We went to I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Cancun, Mexico, and we went there for Labor Day weekend. And I was, I was in the sun. I was in the pool in the sun. I stayed out there all the time. I was outside the whole. I spent a little bit of time inside the resort and stuff, and outside. Went to a couple clubs and everything. But during the daytime, when that sun was out, I spent all my time out by the pool, by the beach, and everything. And it's different. That I always call that equator sun is different than the sun up here. And for those who don't know the equator, that's the imaginary line that goes into it's this imaginary line that separates the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. On that imaginary line is some of the hottest. You get direct sun, you get direct sunlight right on top of your head and stuff. So it's real. It's very hot, around the equator. So yes, it's the closer you get, the hotter it gets. So that's why it's in the states that are in the south, or the further south you go, the hotter it gets, and the further north you go, the colder it gets, because the further you get away from the equator. But yeah, I was down there in that. I was down there in Cancun, Mexico, and you know, I didn't know. I didn't really feel it until we got back, and it took like we got back that Monday. We left on that Monday morning. Well, Monday afternoon, whatever. We didn't get back till and get back home till that evening. The next day, we went to work. That's why I saw it, and I don't burn, I didn't burn all over. I never burn all over. I burn in the places where I sweat a lot. I burn on my forehead and I burn up right here on my shoulders and stuff like that because, that will get the most sun, you know. So yes, at time I have to wear like sunscreen. That's new for me. And I get older, I guess because the cumulative effect of being, in the sun, because I, play sports. So I always been outside and stuff, and always, never paid any attention about being out in the sun like that. It didn't bother me like that. So as I get older and stuff, so I do have to put on like sunscreen sometimes. If I know I'm gonna be outside for a long time, so I do have to put on a little bit of sunscreen, to keep, I try to take care, I still I try to take care of my skin, have to, you know, even though I'm blessed to have a lot of melanin in my skin, I still got to do things to keep it healthy. You know, is it, most thing I use is basically is I use a lot of Palmer's cocoa butter. Obviously, you know, I use that all the time. I love to use Palmer's cocoa butter. I always do use that. I use it on my lips, use it on my skin, use every. I yes, and it helps me out. Also use a little bit. I use baby oil a little bit when I'm on the not Diddy level baby oil. So not like that. But I use out of the shower and stuff. I use it on my skin to keep the moisture in for a little while. So yeah, I use the different things. I use what I use Palmer's cocoa butter soap on my face. So I try to keep my one thing the sun does a little bit, sort of unevens your tone a little bit because parts of your body gets more sun than the other parts. So, after a while, skin parts of your body uneven tone. You see one part your body lighter than the other and stuff like that. So, try to use cocoa butter a little bit, try to even it out. It helps a little bit. It don't solve the problem, but it helps out. And I will try to keep it, keep my skin fresh. Try to keep it like healthy, not dry. I try not to keep it. Very, very, very cognizant on, about keeping my skin. Especially my legs. My legs get drier than my other part of my body, so I try to keep my skin, healthy up there too. Because and I try to one thing I do, I try to keep the hair off my body because I don't like hair. I sweat so much because I don't like hair because the hair stinks. I don't care. Hair stinks when it gets wet. You know, not yeah, it does. If you're wet with sweat and you have hair on your body, you get it wet with sweat, it makes it stink. It does. It does. It just does. So I try to some people do, some people don't. This might not be everybody's. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but that's just how I get down. You know, with the exception of the hair on my damn face, on my chin right here. I try to manage not keep a lot of hair on my body. So keep my body cool, keep it from So another thing you got especially like your legs, you're trying to put like stuff in your legs. You got hairy legs. You can't really get to your skin. Is you're putting it all on the hair. So stuff like that. So I'm trying to do that to try to so I can manage my skin. Treat my skin the way I want to. So yeah, try to find little ways to try to find a little way just to keep that little youth in me. And I know you can't keep it forever. You try to keep it in a different way, but you can't keep it forever, man. You fighting again. You fighting a losing battle. Just try to, you can do is age gracefully. You're not going to stay young forever. I'm not. You know, I see these people out here, especially celebrities, man. You can tell how these people look on, like they have all this money, try to get all these procedures on their face, trying to stay young and stuff, and you just, oh man, stuff looks fake, man. I'm gonna tell you the prime, For instance, the hoop. I'll just give one example. I seen them yesterday. I seen them the other day. I don't know if it was online on TV or something. That's damn Lionel Richie, man. Look at him, man. You don't even look real. I mean, you trying to, what? Ain't nothing wrong with having wrinkles. There's nothing wrong. You 70, 80 years old. There's nothing wrong with having 60, 70, 80 years old. There's nothing wrong with having wrinkles. There's nothing wrong with aging. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. And people who sit up here and down, I don't know, people sit up here and mock people for stuff like that, and tell them, hopefully in your lifetime you'll be fortunate enough to get my age. You should want to look like this. That means you're gonna live a long life. You know, that's why I look at it as you can't, you're not gonna be young forever, but you stay care of yourself. It is what it is. Ain't little things you can do. I ain't knocking everything. I ain't knocking all. I'm not the person that would knock like cosmetic surgery and all that stuff. As long as it's done within reason. Like somebody go from a damn A cup to a triple D cup. Now that don't make sense. Me personally, I can't speak for other people, but me personally, it don't make sense. You got to be reasonable, man. We got people out here, and there are a lot of them out here, man. See, people with we got the BBLs and all that, and I know because all that's no, it don't me, it don't none of that stuff looks right, man. Because you don't having a body a certain way, that means your body is used to having like let's say let's say you a person that has you know a rather large gluteus maximus. If you had it your whole life, that means your legs and everything are used to carrying that weight. So your body is built for that. You know, if you get an attachment on like a damn like you putting on pads in football, you put on an extra damn 40 pounds back there, and your legs ain't prepared to handle all of that. I don't know how much it weighs, I'm just saying. But if you ain't prepared to carry all that, it's not gonna look right. It look like an orange sitting on two number two pencils. I mean, they don't two. I mean, damn. I mean, and excuse me. Yeah, it's not. To me, that's just me personally. That's just me. I don't think it's worth all that. Because the long term effects, man. You thinking about now. You're not thinking about 30 years from now. All that material in your body, all that foreign substance in your body. You don't know what's your body gonna react to that. So I would prefer. I understand if if you going up one size and stuff, and maybe even two, but if you keep it within reason, that's understandable. But nah, you sitting up here trying to like a entirely different person, man. It's just that stuff don't make sense. I don't understand why. I don't understand honestly why women do that to themselves. You know, I don't understand why you would do that to yourself. Even men that would do that to themselves. I don't know why would you put yourself through that, man. Love the skin you in. You know, love who you are. You know, excuse me. God made you who you are so you can look like yourself. God didn't make you out here to look like nobody else. You look like you. Be you. Stop up here. Stop sitting out here looking like trying to look like everybody else. Thinking that's what's saying. And you tell you a little secret. Ain't not everybody looking the same. Ain't nobody dealing with that, man. People like realness. People like authenticity. People like someone who's authentic, not someone who looks like and acts like the person that they see on TV, they see online, or see somewhere else. No, they want that person that's gonna act like them, be authentic. Sorry for a second. I'm talking to my wife for a second. Sorry. But yeah, I just I don't prefer that, and I won't prefer even my wife, me and my wife even talk about it, and I tell her how I feel about it, and I be honest with it, and I respect how she feels, and she respects how I feel, and we go at it like, you don't, she don't want all this stuff anyway. She, but I try to, there's some things she talked about, but we, talk about the pros and cons and stuff, and we talk about it. I'm not the person, like I said, in a relationship, it's all about compromise and stuff, and I know how I feel about stuff. I know how I feel, and I know my position on stuff, but I also know I got to be flexible when someone has a reasonable, somebody come with a reasonable, you know, no proposal. Ain't saying it like it's a damn board meeting, but they have something they want to do and it's reasonable, and we sit here and talk about it, I tell her how I feel, she tell me how I feel, and we sit here and discuss it. It's not a, as, as somebody said, I forgot what show it is. They were talking about. I forgot it was a show back in the days where the person was trying to. They asked someone for something, and they told the person, "Don't say a fast no. I'd rather hear a slow yes than a fast no." So think about it. That's what I try to do. Think about stuff. Don't so quick. The like, yeah, be so definitive so quick. So, I give myself time to think and stuff, give myself a few hours maybe in the day and see, do I have my thoughts change from 24 hours ago? Then I make a decision, it's not like I try to jump on, you know, things that don't require a quick decision. I don't sit there and just make a rash judgment. Shouldn't think about stuff, you know? Right now, y'all, I'm texting my wife, I love you. But yeah, but like I said, I'm glad that she's not, like I said, she's older, she's more mature. She's not older than me, she's younger than me, but she's, she's in her 40s, and she's mature. She's not, one of these young girls trying to be like everybody else, man. She's very she's very intelligent. She's very thoughtful. She's loving and caring and stuff. So like I said that, and she treats me, you know, I treat her like a queen. She treats me like a king. And that is the honest truth. So whenever she comes out with something, I owe it to her to give her a chance to, talk about it and explain it, just like she gives me a chance to talk about stuff and explain it whenever it's something that, I want to discuss with her about or talk about wanting to do it and everything. So, because we don't sit up there and just, do things off the cuff, we sit and talk about it. It'd be unfair for one of us to do things like this to the other. So we talk about everything. We communicate about everything, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You know. So yeah, I like I forgot I went off in so many different directions to get back to skincare. Yeah, I burnt and I like and they talk. I got been burnt one time. I mean, as far as the sun, I ain't. Let me specify because if you don't specify, people take it the wrong way, or they can take it the wrong way, either for joke or whatever. But only being burnt by the sun. First time I was in Cancun, like I said, and they taught me how to, better take care of my skin and stuff. I was before, but now I had that, especially me being out and especially me being outside, you know, learn how to take care of it more, keep my skin more moisturized, don't let it get all, dry and stuff and scratchy and itchy and peeling and stuff. So yeah, I try to. I hope I do a good job. My old lady would let me know if I wasn't. I got a lot of shit. I got a lot of bruising and stuff on myself. If You know, honestly, thank God I'm dark skinned because if I was light skinned, man, I look like a damn cheetah, look like a leopard, all these damn bruises and marks and stuff. Because oh my God, I was scratching. Matter of fact, like 2.5 years ago, right? It was like a couple months before I met my wife, I was shaving one time, and I had a dad, I had a razor with. They had different razors. They got one with 2 blades, 3 blades, 4 blades, 5 blades. I had a razor with. I messed around bought a razor with 5 blades on it one time, and I was shaving my head. And if you see the way my head, I'm tilting my head, but if you see the way my head is shaped, it's like its head goes up. It's got like a little slope and comes down right there. So that area right here, I was shaving. I wasn't paying attention. I was going across, and I just went all across it, and it took a hunk of skin out from here to here. You can't hardly. There's a shine on my head. You can't see it, but you can see the scar from here to here. But it didn't hurt, but it just skipped my head up. But I kept, took care of it, put, bandage it and everything, and, took care of it. And you can still see a little bit, but maybe in dark, it's sort of like, it can blend in a little bit. It can, but you still got little spots right here. I don't know, they're little nicks or something that, I don't know. Some parts of my skin, they get little nicks and they just stay there. Some go away, some don't. So I don't know. Just the beauty of aging. That's all it is. That's all you can attribute it to. You can get scratches and scars and bruises and everything throughout life. If you live in life, you're gonna get scratches, scars, and bruises. So like I said, I try to, I said, all you just try to take care of myself, man. And I hope people like, I just take care of whatever products you use, man. I'm not here to try to tell you what products to use. Use it, whatever there's a lot of things out here. That's one thing I learned in Texas, especially going to the grocery stores, going to these stores. There are a lot of options out here. You know, there are a lot of options for everything out here in Texas. They really do that motto for people that don't live in Texas. That motto is real when they say that everything's bigger in Texas and all that. Yes, they take that very, very, very seriously. Yes, and you go to stores and stuff, especially grocery stores, and you look at you look at things. They have regular size, they have snack size, they have family size, they have party size, they have king size, then they have Texas size. Guess which one's the biggest? You got it. So yes, it's like I said, try to and my wife, I get her, make sure she takes care of her skin. You know, try to, I mean, she always does, but I try to help her with, and she try to give her good new ideas. She give me ideas. She use Vaseline sometimes on it, and I use it a little bit, not a lot, use a little bit. That helps me out with my skin. So anything I can do to keep my skin from looking dry, looking ashy. You know, dry and ashy. Don't want to be out here looking like that. Don't want to be sitting here looking like a damn dusted up chalkboard. Don't want to be out there looking like that. Well, I hope everybody's out here enjoying their summer so far. I hope, like I said, I hope everybody's out here being safe. I hope everybody's out here taking care of themselves, the best way they can, being safe out here, man. Like I said, I know it's hard. I know it's tough out here. I know it's it could be very disheartening. You can have a pessimistic attitude about everything. It's very easy to have that because there's a lot of negative out here, and out here in the, I won't say the media because I don't want to sound like everybody else, but out here in entertainment, however, that's all they want you to see. It ain't all they want you to see, but that's what they want. That's the first thing they want you to see, how things are doing so bad. how things are so terrible, how this is going wrong, how that is going wrong. So like I said, try to find a way to. You're not going to silence it, but find a way to keep it in perspective. Learn how to tune out that damn loud noise or that white that static noise and everything. Try to tune all that out, learn to focus. Excuse me, and see the beauty in life and see the beauty in things. Make you feel better. Make you change your outlook on things, how you look at stuff, man. See the beauty of stuff, man. Don't Things aren't always negative all the time. Things aren't always bad all the time. You know, so it's you gotta try to, like I said, try to find motivation out of anything, whatever motivates you. Don't you got to find out what motivates you. Everybody got different motivations. People tell you what motivates them, but they ain't gonna do you no good because that ain't gonna motivate you. You a different person. You have a different circumstances in life. So what motivates you and what motivates this other person might be two entirely different things. So that's why I would say I ain't gonna tell you how to be motivated. I just tell you to get motivated by something positive. Not anything negative out here. Not, don't be motivated to do negative. Don't be motivated to do harm. Don't be motivated to do anything illegal and stuff like that, man. Be motivated to improve your life. You know, be meaningful in someone's life other than yourselves. That's one way to put it. Be meaningful in someone else's life other than yourself. You know, other than yourself and like your parents and your family. Be meaningful in someone else's life. Someone you have met in life. Be meaningful. Whether it be a significant other, a friend, or whatever, a colleague, whatever, man. Try to make make a difference. Try to make a difference. That's all we can do, man. That's why I feel like we are here. I feel like we are all here that we are all here to help each other. People don't want to do that, or they want to, or they want to help certain people and not other people. So, and that's unfortunate because you should help everybody. Because like I said, in the very end, all this, whatever you obtain in life, it don't matter, money, status, whatever, all this stuff you have obtained in life, in the very end, ain't gonna mean a damn thing. It's not, and everybody live, people live their life like they can take all this stuff with them or take this status with them, or because people here hold you up to be something like when you leave here, that don't mean a damn thing. So don't worry yourself about someone else. Just be truthful to yourself. You know, be honest with yourself. And like I said, don't be afraid to, don't first of all, don't be afraid to make a mistake. You won't try hard if you don't take that fear of failing. You got to be able to fail. You got to be able to. You don't have no fear of failing. So when you do that, that means you'll give your full effort. If you too afraid to fail, you probably give about a 60% effort, and that ain't worth a damn. So, you know, as my man Victor Newman said on Young and the Restless, that ain't worth a damn. But yeah, just try to like I said, try to find some motivation in life, man. Try to, like I said, try to take care of yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Take care of yourself. You are the only one. You are the only you out here. Ain't nobody else gonna take care of you but yourself. Take care of yourself. Don't expect people to take care of you if you can't even take care of yourself first. You know, and you can do it. Just you can't be afraid to take that leap of faith and go out there on that ledge and see what happens. There's nothing wrong with that. See what you can do. You might surprise yourself. You might surprise yourself. I'm sorry for getting all preachy right here, but that's what, like I said. I'm a canoe in the river, and the current just taking me in different places. And sometimes, if I have to be, if it calls for me to say some little words of, encouragement, I'll do that. Words of wisdom, I'll do that. That's what I'm here for. So, with that being said, so I want to, it's hot up there. It's hot. Got to go out here and got to tend to my plants. I said I'm in the garden and stuff, so I got this rose bush and like five. I had one with five roses came out, yesterday. So I had got a couple sunflowers. Um, I got this big purple plant. I don't even know what it's called, but it's purple and green. It's beautiful. And it grew, and some of the branches broke. So I ended up taking the branch and planting that, and the branches are growing. So I'm about to, so I'm trying to have about a couple more of those plants. So like I said, it's trying to it's good keeping my mind, keeping keeping my mind sort of healthy with a challenge in life, other than work, just challenge in life. You need that challenge in life that keeps you motivated, that keeps you inspired, that keeps you, healthy and everything. You got to find that. You got to find that challenge, find that something you can overcome. Surprise yourself. Go outside of your box, go outside of your comfort zone, and try to find something. You know, trust me, you'll get through. You'll surprise yourself. I promise you. No, I ain't make no promises. Yes, you will. You will surprise yourself. I made no promises because something don't happen. I don't want nobody saying, you promised that it was going to happen. No. But more times than not, if you put your effort into it, put real effort into it, something positive will come out, something good will come out of it. You might not get the complete result that you want, but you'll get something. Just work hard. Work hard. With that being said, I'd like to thank y'all for being here with me today. Hope y'all enjoy this weekend. I'll see y'all Monday. And as I always say, kiss your kids, kiss your loved ones, tell them how you feel, tell them what's going on, tell them anything you want to say. You've been waiting, tell them. Go ahead and tell them, because you never know, you might not get that chance. Again, love y'all, and y'all have a great weekend. Take care of yourself.